Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Polly and my dog needs a lot of attention, little Phoebe. So today we're doing comparisons between a couple of fragrances. I'm going to give you kind of a heads up regarding all four that I'm going to talk about, that in terms, just on me at least, or for me, in terms of performance, they are all kind of the same. I didn't find one to be more superior. I do know that some are more expensive, but it's not for the performance, at least not on me. So let's begin. So basically, I did purchase two from Boucheron, Ambre d'Alexandria and Fève Tonka. So we're going to compare it. So let's start with the Boucheron Ambre d'Alexandria, and we're comparing it to Angel's Share. I have this little sample. It's like my third one, and I sprayed this multiple times in Sephora. And between like this one and a couple of others that I really go with the Target to test them out, I don't spray other stuff on me. Like, I understand. So in terms of notes, and I kind of wore them, I can even give you a really kind of clear indication. So they are in the same family. But no, they're not the same. One doesn't dupe the other. What they do, they satisfy the same need or mood or time of year. So they cater to the same, I don't know, desire that you want to get from a fragrance at that moment. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Now, Angel's Share, in terms of notes, in the opening you have cognac, in the heart, tonka, oak, and cinnamon. And in the base, vanilla, praline, and sandalwood. For me, here's my little beef with Angel's Share. I think it's a stunning fragrance. I don't even need to spray it because I sprayed it yesterday and compared them to just to kind of clear my vision of what I thought. It's a great fragrance. If I get it, am I bummed out? No, absolutely no. Excuse me. But I do have a complaint. My complaint is, one, the performance, and the price. Not this. It doesn't go hand in hand for me. And the opening is so incredible. I love the cognac, and I get the most gorgeous oak in the opening with the cognac. And then kind of the tobacco and the cinnamon, they all kind of dance around it. But for me, there's so much cognac and oak in a very sweet, spicy, gorgeous way. It goes away. I don't like that. If you hear crunching, Miss Sadie, Miss Phoebe, what are you eating there? Oh, it's a leaf. What is that? So either way, where was I? Before I was so rudely interrupted. That's my problem, because it's almost, and I don't like saying things like that about, you know, highly spoken about fragrances. It's marketing. It's that trick that perfumery does, that the opening captures your attention, but the dry down, it's kind of basic, and it doesn't have the elements that you had in the opening, which kind of intrigued you to begin with. I would prefer if they took that opening, maintained it, and if need so, taper it, and alongside added the other notes, but never eliminated it. And for me, it's eliminated. And if you want to say it's still there, I will say if it is, it's barely detectable, which for me, it's irrelevant if it's there. At this point, if it's not part of the dominance, you might as well not be there. See what I'm saying? So that's my thing with Angel's Share. But for me, it's definitely about oak and cognac. It's boozy, okay? Now, in terms of Ambre d'Alexandria, this is in the opening vanilla, tobacco, okay? So this is about tobacco and benzoin. And then in the heart, you have amber and labdaman, a little spice. Amber is very warm and sweet. And in the base, ambergris and musk. This is not a musky fragrance. This one, it's about that sweet, spicy amber with tobacco and vanilla and benzoin. Basically, that's what this is. Everything that you think it's gonna smell like, that's how it smells like. People say apple pie. I see where they're coming from. For me, it's not an apple pie because I don't detect apples. For me, it's more about like East European kind of a dough, and you made a sweet, not overly sweet, but sweet bun with a little bit of cinnamon on top, and you put it in an oven brick. And it's for me, it's more about that. But I kind of see what people say apple pie. I'm not going to say it's apple pie, but it's very sweet, it's very cozy, it's very warm, it's a gorgeous amber fragrance. So it's definitely, when it says Ambre d'Alexandria, just know like this is an amber fragrance. It's going to be very warm, very sweet, very inviting, very cozy. It's fantastic. So they're not duping each other. They just belong to the same family. Okay. All right, and in terms of kind of the performance, for me, Ambre d'Alexandria kind of stays pretty linear with its kind of scent, which I appreciate because I liked it. You know, people complain linearity. Oh, this is so linear, it's boring, it doesn't develop. If you prefer the heart and the base, and I guess. But if what got you is the opening and then it transfers to something different, that's actually not a good thing for everybody. For me, that would be quite a disappointment. You know, like with angel shares, you can say, oh, it develops. I don't want it to develop. I would love it to be linear as the opening is, or at least have a development but without losing that bulk that you had in the opening. So it really depends on the fragrance, if you want it to be linear or not. Sometimes linearity is great. If you like how it smells, why would you want it to change? Okay, so there we go. And for the next one, we're doing the Boucheron Tonka and Tonka Fève Velvet Tonka, sorry, from BDK. And I'm gonna say it like this. Again, it's the same thing. Nobody is duping each other. They don't smell the same. I have a couple of almond fragrances that are kind of poofy and fluffy and cozy and comfortable. I do love that kind of undertone. And these just are part of that family, okay? It's not duping. So let's go over the Boucheron one. So you have bitter almond and violet in the opening. In the heart, Tonka rose patchouli. Regarding the rose, this is not a rose fragrance, okay? So if you're not a fan of rose, don't worry, it means nothing. Maybe it adds sweetness, that's about it. In the base, you have vanilla, sandalwood, and labdaman. Gorgeous base, love the base. Now here's my beef with this fragrance is the bitter almond. I love almond. I don't like when it's bitter. So the opening is not my favorite part. I don't think it's horrible by no means. If you want to see, I literally just got this fragrance not even a month ago, okay? And we ever have a dent. I use this a lot before bedtime, okay? This is kind of I have a couple, and this is one of them. Again, just the opening is not my personal favorite, but when I wake up, my clothes smell phenomenal because of that base. So with this one, you have to really like bitter almond to enjoy the opening. I will say this is leaning more that direction than Tonka. This has Tonka. I don't find it to be all that, it's not as, okay, if I'm comparing the two, which is what I'm doing, Velvet Tonka from BDK is more Tonka driven, more Tonka focused, more Tonka dominant compared to this. There's still a lot of Tonka. Here you got more. In terms of Velvet Tonka, the notes, almond, but it's not bitter. Orange blossom, it's not a floral fragrance. I will say later what it does. Tobacco in the heart with rose oil, again, not a rosy fragrance, don't worry. Then in the base, Tonka, amberwood, and bourbon vanilla. Here's the deal. You take almond, you take orange blossom, you take a little dash of rose with tobacco and Tonka. What do you get? Which is what people say when they don't like it. They're complaining, baby powder. So that's what those florals do here. Do I say that these people are crazy? No. No. It does steer to that direction. I personally love it because they still get kind of the tobacco aspect and the powderiness, and it's very sweet, and it's very the same as this. It's very cozy, kind of enveloping, cashmere, and just puffy and cloudy. But it does lean to that direction. So if you cannot stand a fragrance that leans over there and that you might associate it with a baby powder and you cannot have it, stay away from Velvet Tonka. When I put it on, my husband walked behind me. He's like, "Oh, you smell good." I'm like what? He's like, kind of like, and he's not a fragrance person at all, at all. He's like, kind of like a baby powder. I was like, dang it. Listen, I still love it. I think it's really beautiful. And then he smelled it again. He didn't know it's the same one. He's like, "You smell good," but then he's like, "But you got better ones." You know? So really up to you. I think this one is stunning. I got this one because I heard on reviews that it's kind of a dupe and it was just cheaper on Jama Shop, and I don't know if I'm bummed out or not. I do have a suspicion the Boucheron does perform better, but on the other hand, I don't like to compare performance from these little samples, the 2 ml, to a full bottle. It's not going to be the same. You can expect it to be the same. This really is more about an indication of a scent. Obviously, sometimes I have fragrances in those 2 ml, 2 sprays. Oh, I'm good for 12 hours. Phoebe. All right, so my dog is really throwing me off here, but that would be my comparison. I think they're both really great fragrances, but they're not replacing or duping each other. If you're into almondy and powdering, kind of those cozy scents, you can easily have both, because I have other ones, and in that aspect you can say, "Oh, they all smell the same." Well, obviously they don't. There are differences. Do I have one here? Yeah, I have the Jujune Rose, for example, right? So this is also, oh, baby powder. I understand. I love this one. This one is just, this is a year-round. It's almost taking, you know, these guys, but for spring. It's just giving me like mommy vibes. Because of the rose and its powder, it's uber feminine and motherly, and it's just like, ugh. But it's in the same family, but it smells completely different. I mean, completely different. So I do love almonds and powder and tonkas, but I know if you guys, by the way, have a really good recommendation for, you know, something from this family, I would love to hear, just like, as long as it's not bitter or some bergamots. Like, I really like to keep it like really nice and fluffy and poofy and sweet and delicious and awesome. Also, anything that you would personally recommend that is kind of like Angel Share or Ambre de Alexandria, please leave it in the comments, because it's really my vibe. I just want, I feel like I want more. I want more, I wanted more of that oak, you know, and the cognac in Angel Share with the sweetness. I want more body, more robust. Maybe I need to look at more men-leaning fragrances or masculine fragrances from this category, and then I will have luck. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I would love to hear your guys' recommendations. But that is it for today. That is my comparison. Nobody's duping each other. They're just part of the same family. 2 different families. They're both both of these kind of topics, so to say, they will be very appropriate for fall and winter. There's no gender here with these scents. It's just great. All right, guys, so that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.